Hey there, replay people. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my scope today. And I just wanted to let you know I'm Jeremy Franson, and I am the co-host of the #1 internet business show on iTunes since 2005. And today I'm going to be talking about the concept of what is epic? What is an epic life? So I'm going to say hi to everybody here. Ray, hey, welcome. Desiree, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. I think I saw Sean Noonan, right? Are you there? Hello, hello. Where's everybody? How many of you are new, by the way? If you could type in new, if you've not seen me before, that would be very cool. Hey, Kirby. Yeah, Sean, what's up? Conscious Runner, hey, how's it going? So again, today I'm going to be talking about what is an epic life. And actually, Sean Noonan, who's in here now, he said the other day, how do you define epic life? Because in my scopes, I put epic life scope. That's my hashtag. Hey, Tom, how's it going? Saw your cast yesterday. Saw Tim, how's it going? So anyway, this idea of the epic life, I wanted to talk about this, and I realized that I've had this in my mind since maybe I was about 16. And there's a specific story around what triggered this for me. So I wanted to kind of explain that. And I realized I've had the epic life in my mind for over 20 years, but I've never had to actually express it out. So I've been thinking about it a lot for, the last week or so since Sean mentioned that. And so here's some of my thoughts on it. I'm going to just kind of talk through it, tell you where it came from, what I think about it, and what I actually want to do with the idea. And it actually started, I could remember back to when it first struck me, and I was in high school, maybe I'm about 16, let's say, and I had an acquaintance, this kind of friend that floated in and out of our group of friends. And the thing that I remember so strong about him is that he loved telling us stories, like these unbelievably grand stories about his life. Like, he even had one that was absolutely insane, where his dad was a spy. And he seemed to believe it. And some of them were just as simple as he would go, oh yeah, last weekend I went to this party with the main girl that everybody liked, right? And we're like going, wait a minute, you were with us last weekend. When did you get a chance to go to this amazing party that I didn't hear about and get to be with this person? And he would just have these stories, these grand stories. And at 16, I just was like going, God, I felt like pity for him, that he would have to come up with these grand stories. But I could see underneath it, the empathy was that he wanted an amazing life. He wanted to be interesting. He just hadn't yet, he was 16. He wasn't in a position yet to go out and actually take the action to have this grand life that he seemed to tell us these stories about. So that was the first thing. I was like going, God, I don't want to be the guy that has to make up stories to seem interesting, and I don't even want to have to, think to myself, God, how boring is my life, right? Like, I didn't want to have that. So that was one part. Then, of course, at the time, I was huge into movies, huge into drama. I was in drama all through high school, and it was one of those things where that coupled with the idea of the hero's journey. Like in movies, I later read all about what the hero's journey is and what all the steps of a hero's journey is. And I would watch movies and go, I love the courage that these people have to have. These, fictional characters usually is what it was. And I was like going, how do I do that? How do I have a life that's worthy of a movie where somebody'd go, oh, look at that heroic arc that the person has, the courage that they have to do amazing things. So that coupled with watching somebody who had to say these things that weren't real made me really start thinking, I want to have a life where I don't have to make stuff up to be interesting. And I also want to have a life, though, that I don't have to just watch other people do it. Because as fun as it was to watch movies and watch somebody else's heroic journey, I was like going, then I would leave and go, now I'm back in real life. So that was kind of where it all started. Then I read Anthony Robbins maybe at age 19 and saw, wow, somebody's talking about this. Like, at that time, I didn't know people even talked about that. Because certainly the world that I lived in, I come from a very, very poor background, and I didn't see people do anything but surviving. So then I see Anthony Robbins, and he's talking about doing these big grand things, and so I was like going, okay, I'm going to start doing that. And that's what's led, since then, I've done a lot of different things to try and really encompass that idea of epic. And there's two parts of it that I want to mention. I wrote down this morning as I was really thinking about it. So my friend, his name's Brad, that, had these grand stories but didn't actually do the epic life stuff. He had the intent, like he wanted to be interesting. He loved talking about these stories where he had to have these epic courage and this kind of stuff, but he wasn't actually taking the action. Right? He would just tell us a made-up story. So basically, I started realizing that it's the intent. Like, I know a lot of people that have no desire. They enjoy their normal, regular, what would it be called? Kind of usual life. They're completely fine by it. They're not struck with this idea of wanting to have an epic life. So that's a different thing. He actually had that, but didn't have the ability or the courage yet, or whatever it was. So when I got into the Anthony Robbins stuff, I was like going, oh, okay, I can actually use some of these tools to maybe do it. And one of the things I actually did way back then, I was 19 at the time, was I just started college, and I made a bet with some of the people. I wanted to go into film. I wanted to write and make movies. And I made a bet in my first class, maybe 2 weeks into college. I made a bet that I couldn't go up to LA and get a job in the industry instead of going to college. And it all was because I had a professor that there's like 95 students in this huge arena, and he says, out of all of you people here, statistically 3 of you might work in this industry that you're getting your degree in, like that you want to actually go into. And I just thought, well, this is a waste of time. Why am I here? I'll just go be one of those 3 right now. Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for coming in. Jeremy, yep, Jeremy's coming in. But anyway, so I made a bet with a couple of people. I was telling a couple of friends, like, why should we even be here in this college class if the statistics are like that? Why not just go up there? And I actually drove to LA, slept in my car for 2 nights, and snuck on the Universal lot, talked to people. I read a Steven Spielberg book that said that he did that. He snuck onto the Universal lot and kind of made himself at home. He found a trailer that nobody was using and acted like he worked there. So I just went, okay, that seems pretty epic. So I went up and did that. And I met somebody that worked in wardrobe. I didn't know how to do anything to do with wardrobe. And I asked them all these questions. I said, what is it you do? How do you do that? Where did you learn to do that? And how would I do that? And this girl that worked in wardrobe said, we're actually looking for somebody. It's really super easy. I could tell you what to do. And then she got me the interview. I got the job at Universal Studios and quit. I drove back, quit school, and moved all my stuff up to Los Angeles. And to me, that was the encompassing the idea of intent plus action. I again, seeing movies and what heroic looks like or what epic looks like, that is what I wanted to do, and that is what I want to actually make this epic story and lesson. Yeah, thank you. That's what I wanted my life to be, is intent plus action. Now, I was going to define really fast what I mean, or what epic seems to be. Taking action much? Yeah. So definition of epic is heroic, majestic, impressively great, surpassing the usual or ordinary, particularly in scope and size. Awesome, thank you. And thank you so much for the hearts. Yeah, that's how I know that you're enjoying this information. But anyway, so that is what I've been developing in my life for the last 20 or so years, is that ability to have the intent plus action. And I had a friend from high school that we went on and were friends well into our 20s. And one of the things I realized, I was watching really closely people's intent versus their action. Ethan says he's working on being epic. That's awesome. Yeah, I actually see you doing that for sure. See you everywhere and scoping so much and stuff. That's awesome. Me too. Talk money with me. Oh, hey, what's up? So anyway, the intent plus the action seems to be the entire key behind this epic. And so, I was talking about my friend, and one of the things he would do is he always had the intent of hanging out. So he'd say, hey, let's go do lunch. And I'd go, okay, when? And he'd say, Tuesday here. And I would show up, and there was about a 50-50 chance that he wouldn't show up. And I would call him 20 minutes in and go, hey, I'm here at lunch. What's going on? And he fully believed in intent only. And we had a huge talk about it. And he actually admitted that, he goes, it's the intent that matters to him. He intended for us to have a great lunch, to chat, and have all this, wonderful conversation about what was going on. But then the day of, some other things happened, and he took those actions instead. And to be honest, at the time, I couldn't even believe it. And he still thought, though, that because he intended to be there, that is what mattered. And he didn't understand why I was like going, well, how does that matter? It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, huge different. You're right. Intent versus action. Like, what does it matter if you intend to be there if I'm there and you don't actually do it? And it feels like that has a lot to do with, this is an underlying for even fears that people had. You acted on his intent. Yeah, well, and I intended, like I wanted to have that cool talk. I had all this stuff to tell him about what had happened and the kind of stuff that I want these scopes to be. I always am reading stuff. I'm always learning new things. And I just am always dying to get it out and tell other people. I was just scoping about striving for Jedi and how you have to do, there is no try, right, right, follow through with the intent. So anyway, I think this is a core of the epic thing, is being able to add that intent. It's almost, I'm trying to think of what it's called. It's just like I have a formula for what is real. Like, how do I know if something actually exists and is real? And it's basically logic backed by empirical evidence. That's a very similar thing. Just because something's in my mind doesn't mean it actually exists. And that's kind of the same idea with this action of intent plus action. So anyway, that's going to be a part of this epic life stuff. That is one of the ideas right behind what the theme of the epic life is. So I wanted to tell you where it all came from, where it started. And right now, I'm now trying to develop and figure out what the vision of this is going to be. So you're seeing this kind of real time. And I just finished this book right here, Louder Than Words. There we go. Love that you're on here, scoping. Always such great insights. Thank you. Thank you. Heart it up if you like it. So anyway, one of the things that I really, really got from this Louder Than Words book is he's saying to be able to have kind of an influence out there in the world, you need identity, vision, and mastery. And the one area that I really, really wanted to get clear on, like obviously in my internet business mastery, we have all three. And for me, myself, I'm a co-host on there, so I have all three. But with this new thing, with this idea of helping people who have the desire to have an epic life, help them be able to achieve that, I'm still trying to get the vision, the middle piece. And one of the things that occurred to me is that I wanted to, who's my avatar? That's what the book was talking about. Who's your avatar, and what is it that you want for them? Bruce Lee is a good bio for his life and career. Yeah. I've actually read one of his bios, and even saw the movie that they made about him, which was really, really interesting. Even just the movie was really interesting, where he actually battles the fears within him are manifest as this huge, like, statue character that he has to fight. And that ultimately actually apparently wins, at least within the story of that. But anyway, so the person that I wish I could talk to now, I love the concept of being able to go back and talking to that 19-year-old self of myself and going, here's what I've learned. I'm 44 now. What can I show you with all the things that I did that can make the process happen faster, make it more clear? And that's actually what I want to do with these epic life scopes, is show all the stuff I'm either learning that is helping myself do this epic life, or try and have an epic life. Like, really, I'm calling this the epic life quest, because I'm on the quest as well. I've learned a bunch of things, but I'm also still developing and trying to learn more things about how to have an epic life. So that's kind of the absolute basics of what that is. The other thing I think of is I don't think I can tell anyone what an epic life is. I think it's the theme and the concept behind it, because you've got to decide what your epic life is. And then what I want to do is I want to find all the ways I can help people achieve that epic life that they want. We should consistently be striving. Yeah, possibly. That could possibly be it. And that's the, let's see, we always and continually develop and hopefully progress. Yeah, absolutely. I want to do a scope about how to never fail. I've got this concept about it's really easy not to fail. Like, all of this stuff is what I want to be this epic life quest. But also realizing that there's some things I actually know and am to the level of mastery that I can teach, but also we're on a quest together. If you're interested in this, and actually you don't follow me, definitely click down on the little guy down here and follow me. This is what I'm going to be talking about. I'm also going to be talking about business. And I'm so obsessed with this whole Periscope thing, I might even be talking about how to use Periscope for business as well. I'm going to do all three things, even though in my business we usually say to do one. Don't give up, learn from every experience. Sean's saying this is great. Curious about an intentionally epic life relating to loving your story. Up, it died. Me too, obsessed. Awesome. And see, I'm also completely obsessed with the idea of this epic life thing as well. The reason I'm so obsessed with Periscope is this is how I do it. With friends and family that I hang out with, being able to just sit down at any moment and talk about epic stuff is what I love to do, and what I've done since I was quite young. So that's why this whole Periscope thing totally works for me. But anyway, so that's what it's going to be, and I thought I would just give you a couple of things that I'm working on right now. Number one is the reason also that I'm reading 3 to 5 books a week, and I'm redeveloping this library. I've got I guess four of these shelves upstairs, couple downstairs, and even though I got rid of most of them doing this whole minimalist stuff, and now I'm coming out of that. The reason I was doing this is because, to me, the idea of getting all this knowledge and having that knowledge myself is absolutely epic. And then developing a system to be able to read, comprehend, and actually put into action that knowledge seemed epic as well. That's why I'm doing it. Reading is so essential, I think, to learning about living an epic life. Absolutely. Might as well, like this willpower book I was reading and this habit book that I was reading, some of these people have dedicated their life to learning this one little aspect of life. And, like one, does it all in Stanford. Like there's tinyhabits.com, and it's a Stanford professor who's been doing this for 20-something years. Like, why not learn from all these people and incorporate that into being the tools to be able to have this epic life and the, whatever you define that epic life to be. So I'm still working on it, still going to play around with it, but I just wanted to kind of get out there where I'm at with it and what I'm thinking about that. One other aspect to it, it might be a little kind of all over the place, but is I realize that every single day that I actually am still alive, this might sound very strange, but this is how my mind's always working, and I choose to be alive, so this is another strange thing. I could end it. We could all end it. There is that ability. If I'm going to choose to stay alive today, why not make it amazing? Like amazing. Not just like, I'll see what I can do to get by. What all can I do to distract myself? Like, since I've been really getting into this, my consumption of television or video games or all this stuff has gone way down, because I started realizing that most of it was distraction. It wasn't, I would intend to have an epic day, and then my action wouldn't back it. Because generally, an epic day wouldn't consist of some of the things I was doing. And that is being able to back that intent. That's my intent. Would I be doing this? So I'm constantly asking myself, is this action I'm taking something that will lead or an expression of being epic? And a lot of times it's no, including eating wrong, or eat, like different things I was doing to emotionally eat or anything. Got disconnected on my meth face. Oh, so sorry. but anyway, so that is kind of where I'm at with this. And let's see, I was going to also say, so one of the things that I'm doing actually right now is, my goal is at the end of the day to try and figure this out for myself. I want to go to bed a little wiser than before. It's about the absolute consistency. That's why I'm doing the 3 to 5 books a week, is because I want to be able to go to bed a little bit wiser with a little more information. And right now what I'm doing is I'm really digging into, if you've watched any of the scopes over the last week, I've been talking a lot about habits, because in looking at what parts of my life do I judge them as epic in the past, it was when I was able to achieve different goals I had. But then there were so many goals that I wasn't able to achieve, and I wanted to find out why. So right now I'm very much digging into habits, because that is what I realize is what's necessary to make those goals that will allow me to have that epic life happen, is these habits, and what all the tools and mastery is behind that, so that I can actually be in control to whatever degree we can have control. That's what I want. I'm trying to go to bed being a little bit wiser, at least a little bit wiser than before. So, oh my gosh, talked about a lot of stuff. Also looking at other people's success habits. Yep, absolutely. That's why I'm reading biographies, is to see what are the actions that people that are wildly successful, that definitely even I judge to have an epic life, what is it they do? So that's kind of the stuff I'm going to talk about. Existing habits are definitely my limiting factor, right? Well, I'll tell you what, the Power of Habits book, I believe that's the one where they talk about a really interesting concept to me, and that is you can't get rid of bad habits. So the science shows you cannot get rid of them. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, I've always had the concept in my head, I'll just get rid of a bad habit. He says instead you're supposed to replace the routine part. So there's cue, routine, and reward. And the routine you can change. Just use the habit already there and replace the routine. So that's in the Power of Habit book. Definitely check that out if you haven't, or read the part where it talks about being able to do that. So anyway, Jeremy, any books that you could recommend for trying to be epic despite debilitating health issues? Wow. I mean, honestly, all of it comes down still to the goals that you set and setting habits for it. Whatever your limitations are. I mean, part of your limitations are going to be, everybody's going to have different limitations. Like, if you constantly have chronic pain, that's going to be your limitation. If you're absolutely, your money situation is absolutely dire, so you can't do a lot of the things that it might take to even gain the knowledge to live that epic life, those are going to be your challenges. And maybe even designing goals and habits that will help you get through whatever your challenges are. Maybe that's part one. Like, even the desire to have epic, most people don't. Like, it blows me away. Sometimes I will talk to family members, or distant family members, and even old friends, and they don't even have that desire. They're just like, oh, I'm content. And that's fine. That is completely fine if you want to be content. Go be content. That's completely great. But I don't have that desire. Sometimes I wish I do, when I'm really trying for something and it's really super high, but or hard. I have that desire. Wow, I wish I could just be okay with being content. Actually, it reminds me of. Let me try and find this for a second. So I have all these notes and stuff over the years of. There was a movie, let me see if I can find it super fast, you're You're welcome for that. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to try more and more to find information about that, but I think it always comes down to we all have challenges, and it's a matter of finding the ways to get over those challenges. But there was a TV show back in the day called Heroes. That's always a weird balance, striving and being content. Yeah, so this bad guy in this TV show called Heroes said this cool thing that just gets my mind going, and it said, a man can either be happy or have meaning. A happy man lives fully in the now. A man of meaning builds from the past and obsesses and designs the future. I was like, it's such a weird thing, because contentment seems like the thing that if you strive, if you're somebody who wants epic, then it's really hard to just simply be content. And like you're saying, it's hard. Should I have that balance? I don't know. Maybe I can find the contentment. That was a TV show called Heroes. And sometimes I'll write down quotes in movies that spark my, whoa, what was that? Like I have an epiphany about. One of the things I'm really trying to do is sit with desire, what you're talking about. Right. Like I'll tell you what, I went through, in my 20s, I went through this kind of learning about religion and what all of that was, and I learned about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 different major religions. And one of the things I did for a while, and fit pretty well for a while, was Buddhism. And the thing that I couldn't get over was was a contradiction, what felt like a contradiction to me, and that was, you're supposed to let go of your desire. But I kept going, so I should desire to have no desire. Like, it's a contradiction, and I couldn't get through it. And finally kind of went, okay, well, that was very, very interesting to me, but I don't consider myself Buddhist anymore, because I want to make this life amazing. I just have this. Like, why? Like, I guess the key for me is that when you're going through the challenges, or you have massive challenges, you don't sit with them and go, take the victim mentality. Life is so hard. You go, yeah, we all have challenges. And that's part of being epic, is being able to get over those challenges. That's the first thing to do is, however you want to say it, the universe isn't just going to give it to you. You got to earn it. You've got to be of value enough where you actually deserve that epic life. Desire is okay. Hey, Roderick, what's up? Attachment to desire is not. Yeah, to me, it's a matter of the type of way I want to express myself in this epic life thing. So, agreed. Yeah, Roderick, very good. But anyway, so that was just a movie quote that one of you guys triggered me on thinking of, is just that idea that just being content, really he was saying happy, but it was content versus basically, to me, wanting to learn massively from things in the past and go do what you consider epic great things, right? Meaning. So anyway, there's just, I guess, a little bit of a background about what I want these to be, what I'm going to do with these. It's so funny because just a little bit of transparency for me, even though I've been speaking on stage and I've been doing this show, I still keep getting nervous and I keep going, am I going to have enough value for people? But really, one of the things that I found, let me scroll up here, I've got another thing. I'm looking into this thing called Eulerian destiny, which is a method for determining what you should be doing with your life that builds upon your strengths, rather than I kind of had purpose, meaning some sort of like mystical, you're born with a purpose. And I've got one friend who is so the smartest human I know, and he's very much a challenger of things. He's an iconoclast, even higher than I am. And what's that Eulerian destiny? I'll describe it again in a second. But I was talking about, I think I found my purpose. And I was talking about it with the idea of, this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. Like as if I was born to do this. And he challenged that really heavily, especially based on the idea of where nihilism comes from, where life actually has no inherent meaning. It's what meaning we give it. So he was like going, really, he was like, what's the meaning of life? And I was like, well, and I started trying to answer it. And he goes, yeah, it's a false question because it's acting as if there is meaning. But I liked the idea. It totally made me like really be thinking about it. And that's where I found this Eulerian destiny, which is a method for determining what you should be doing in your life built on your strengths. And so the lucky thing is I've been working on like strength finders and doing all of those like tests about what your high-end strengths are, or your top 5 strengths. So now that's where I'm basing everything on. Is one of my strengths is communication. I love inspiring epic. That's my thing. That's what I want to do, and that's what I've actually been hiding from most of my life, is being this person that I have this desire, and I've tried so hard to do every other thing but the thing that fits my strengths and that I want to do. Like one of the things my friend was saying about the whole meaning of life and me thinking this purpose was this magical thing was, he's like, it's okay to just go, I want to do this. It's my life. This is what I want to do with it. It doesn't have to be this higher, crazy, magical purpose. I can just decide I want to do this. And I have since, like I said, since I was about 19. Strengths can be acquired, study up. Well, I think there's a difference between getting a skill and maybe what your internal strengths are based on, like with the Eulerian destiny, I'll just tell you right now, there's a couple of questions that it asks and you're supposed to answer. But one of them is, let's see, what do strangers and even enemies compliment you on? Your mother's praise doesn't count. And the behind the scenes of that is, how do you occur for people? Oh my gosh, did you see my cat? She's freaking out because I got the door shut. So when she's out, she wants in, and when she's in, she wants out instantly, constantly. But anyway, so, it's like, what is it? How do you show up for people? What are those general strengths? For me, it happens to be the communication, the inspiring. That is the thing that is a part of my life. It's what I do on a Saturday night. It's what I do anytime I can. So being able to develop that far more than some weakness that I have, like studying numbers and getting really, really in detail on numbers, totally not a strength. Now I can get a little bit better, I think, at it, but I don't even have the desire to get that detail. But sometimes I try and do that. When you guys recommend unique ability, that really helped me. Great insights. Yeah, and the unique ability we mixed with a bunch of other stuff in the Internet Business Mastery stuff to do what we call the single motivating purpose. And single motivating purpose completely helps. The next level for me, I was still trying to pull out that like kind of magical idea behind purpose. But anyway, so gosh, I could just go on and on. I actually originally wanted to just do again another like maybe 20-minute thing. Any questions, any thoughts, any suggestions before I go? And again, I'll tell you, the thing that I'm right now trying to do, I'm still trying to very, very specifically in a sentence or a paragraph describe for Sean and just in general what epic life means. When you go to bed tonight, in what way will you be a little bit wiser? Well, tonight specifically, I finished this book. Also, even trying to really, really define the whole epic thing. That's absolutely the goal for today. Getting more and more detailed on that, and being okay, and being like I almost didn't do this scope again. I've been walking around just turning it all around in my head, but instead I decided, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'll just do it and do it with you guys. Let you ask stuff. Let you connect with that. Hey, Trista, what's up? Came in just in time for the end. I'd be interested in any resources you recommend on contentment, accepting that you have, desire. Oh, wow. That was really something after learning all about the, what's it called? The Buddhism thing. Glad you did it. Love the topic. Big issue on my mind. Awesome. Yeah, when I did the Buddhist thing, it occurred to me the contradiction. And honestly, one of the things I started learning is all about logical fallacies. logical fallacies are what helped me realize that the desire to have no desire is a contradiction, and how important it is to connect with reality and be able to see. Yep, cat wants out. Well, let's see if, nope, she's not going to jump up. Anyway, the desire to, have no desire, that's one of those things that I was like going, it's hurting my mind to try and hold two contradictory thoughts, and getting connected, anything where you can learn. There's even Wikipedia pages that talk about logical fallacies. Being more connected to reality is something that's been hugely helpful for me. Strength Finder type tool. Well, to be honest, taking the Strength Finder test, that would be a massive thing. I've got my kids, my 18-year-old daughter just took it, and I'm having my 16-year-old daughter take it today. That's great, thank you. Yeah, logical fallacies. I know it might not sound interesting, but the more connected we can get to what actually is real, I think is incredibly, incredibly important in terms of being epic. Because I don't want techniques that might work some of the time or work for this person because we're hearing just one part of the story. I want something that I can use over and over and over again. Fascination Advantage is a great flip side to Strength Finders. Yeah, I went through that as well. And I can't remember what they call it, but my fascination thing was Maverick Communicator, I believe, or Maverick Leader. Which I'm very much an iconoclast. I love to break things down and see why. That's why I went through my 20s. I just learned about all these different religions because I wanted to see what the heck is up with this. Why do so many people believe this? And I want to break it down. I want to find out is there truth here, whatever. But anyway, so fascination. Do you have the URL for that, Roderick? If you could put that in, and then we'll take off for the day. So anyway, I guess one of the questions you could ask yourself is, what is an epic life for you? Like, start kicking that around in your head. What is epic? What would be an epic life? Because my definition isn't going to be your definition. We have those different strengths. So absolutely consider that and start kicking that around. So whenever you come in and do these type of this conversation with me, hopefully will be more of a conversation. Today I had to just let it out and get it out there, and then I'm gonna make this into maybe a YouTube as kind of a beginner thing for somebody who's like, what is this thing? They can watch this. And Roderick, it looks like you're back. If you know the URL to that fascination, are you talking about the Sally? I think her name's Hogshead. If that's what you're talking about, that's the one that I took, and that would be a cool one. I've taken a whole bunch of them. Trying on phone, no problem. I've taken a whole bunch of them, and it's so funny because no matter what ones I've taken, I always end up with the same basic strengths. SallyHogshead.com. Yeah, awesome. You can check that out there. But anyway, okay, so thank you so much. Again, if you aren't already following me and you want to be a part of this conversation of epic life, definitely go down, click the little guy, and follow me. And thank you so much for being on. Thanks for the hearts. And hopefully I can be of value and we can continue this conversation, hopefully daily. Thanks. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. And I guess I'll either talk to you guys later tonight or tomorrow. Cool. See ya. Thank you for the hearts. How to fascinate. There we go. Great scope, Jeremy, inspiring. Thanks, Roderick. That's awesome. Howtofascinate.com. There it is. And Sally's, thank you. I appreciate you. Awesome. Thanks. Oh, exclamation point. Okay, it was a question mark. I was like, I don't know if it's awesome. We'll see. Thank you so much for the hearts. Talk to you guys later.